Hello everyone and welcome to another incredible game that happened yesterday. It is from the St. Louis Rapid tournament, so it's a rapid game. Of course, I forgot to change the letter on the little robot, so just give me a second. There we go. And just as we are recovering from that masterpiece that Stavrula played yesterday, we are treated to another one. Here, Alireza Firuja is facing Wesley So, and unlike yesterday's masterpiece, this one is left unfinished. So you guys will have a chance in a pause the video moment to finish the masterpiece. So let's check it out. Alireza has the white pieces, and interestingly, we followed the exact same game I already covered yesterday or the day before yesterday, where Šarić played against Rajabov, where he defeated him in that line that was already played by many others, including Wesley So himself with the white pieces. So this is a lot of mind trickery in this one. So okay, let's go after it. E4, E5, knight f3, knight to f6 going for the Petrov defense, and now knight captures on E5. Like I said, if you watched the Šarić versus Rajabov video, then it's the exact same thing. Knight f3, knight captures on E4, D4, D5, and now bishop to D3. Bishop to f5, we have castles. Bishop to e7, rook to e1, and castle. So everything the same, nothing new here. Knight b to d2, and now knight to d6, offering a trade of light square bishops, but knight to f1. Of course, you would like the trade to happen on d3. So bishop captures, queen captures, and now pawn to c6. We have bishop to f4, knight to a6, and now pawn to h4. Everything the same, knight to c7, pawn to g6, and now, first knight to g5, threatening checkmate, and now pawn to g6. And we reached a position that happened in the Šarić-Rajabov game, where Šarić played knight to g3, which was a completely new move. So it has never been played before, and the moves that we discussed in that position were knight to e3, that was already played by Fabiano Caruana, also Ante Brkić played it, and knight to h2. Knight to e3 that Wesley played, but knight to h2 that Fabiano played. And here we have knight to h2, and now there are a couple of games that reach this position where f6 was played, and also queen to d7 is a non-move. Queen to d7 played by also Fabiano had a game where he played with the white pieces against Mamedyarov. Mamedyarov played queen to d7, and we have a game that Ante Brkić played against Maxim Matlakov. Matlakov played pawn to f6, and in both of those games, the player with the white pieces celebrated victory. But here we have knight to f5, and it is now already, as of move 15, that we have a completely new game. So the action will happen immediately. Knight to g4, and now bishop to d6, offering a trade of light square bishops, dark square bishops, and much like in the Šarić-Rajabov game, you're expecting bishop captures on d6, queen captures on d6, but no. Here Alireza was of an unrestful spirit, so to say, and he played queen captures on f5. I mean, this is just amazing to see such a move. Point is that the knight will connect with the king and the bishop on d6, and he will get some material in return. So let's see what happens. You cannot capture the bishop first because then queen captures on f4, so g captures on f5, accepting the queen, and now knight to h6 with check. If you go here, then the queen will be recaptured right away, so that's not really great. You have to go forward, king to g7, and now knight captures on f5 with check, nicely connects with the bishop on d6. The king goes to g6, and now knight captures on d6. Okay, you won some material for the queen, but not a lot. Pawn to h5, stopping white from playing pawn to h5, because then you might have to worry about something like rook to e3, then the rook can get control of the h file. And here Alireza has to choose. Does he want to go for the rook lift, or does he want to play knight captures on b7, grab more material, harass the queen, and maybe figure out what to do from there? Rook to e3 is the strongest move recommended by the engine, but it yields only a draw. For example, rook e3, f6 challenges the knight, rook to g3, and after captures, there's not much to be done here. You can even go under the mask of the bishop, because the rook is also attacking the bishop. So rook f5 a discovery, you're just going to repeat. There's nothing better here. So Alireza wants to continue. He plays knight captures on b7, attacks the black queen here, and queen to c8, attacking the knight. Knight to c5, and now we have rook to e8. Now, Wesley says, all right, you didn't want to go for the rook lift, you're not going for it now. But Alireza says, yes, I am. He plays rook captures on e8, and you cannot capture with the queen and control the e-file as the knight on c7 would hang. So knight captures on e8, and now rook to e1. Alireza manages to bring another attacker into the game, and now he has a knight, bishop, pawn, rook soon to join the action, and the other knight on c5, sort of surrounding the black king. Can he finish this game? We have queen to f5 going after the bishop, and now knight to d3, defending the bishop and also the c2 pawn. Pawn to f6, and now Alireza doesn't play knight to e6 or something that you might expect, or maybe going back with the knight, but instead goes rook to e7. He tries to sacrifice the knight as well. But if you capture the knight, then comes knight to e5 check. The e5 square has been cleared for the knight. King f6, if you go king f6, of course, just bishop captures on g5, and now you have to give up the queen. There are no squares for the black king. And if you go king to h6, then h captures on g5. Again, all of the squares here are covered. You have to give up the queen for the pawn and bishop. So that's not going to work. After rook to e7, Wesley says, all right, I cannot capture the knight. Knight to g7, and now rook to f7, putting pressure on that f6 pawn. And now what can Wesley do? He, of course, brings the rook into the game. Now comes bishop to e5. If the knight cannot be captured, then the bishop cannot be captured either. And now knight to e8. You could also just play queen captures on g5 and say, okay, I'm going to take the knight, take the rook on f7, we trade down and we play an endgame, but Wesley still wants to fight. He plays knight to e8 and defends the f6 pawn. f3 by Alireza. It looks like a slow move, but the pawn will come in very handy when it's time to advance that g-pawn. Plus also, Wesley is sort of in a zugzwang. There really isn't a useful move he can do in this position, and a move like a6 or a5 is probably the best thing to do, just letting Alireza play something, because black does not have a move here. You can play something like king to h6, maybe hoping to repeat a position, but Wesley played queen to c8, and now he allows Alireza to actually win the game, and Alireza plays it right away. Knight to f4 with check, king to f5, and now it's time to find the winning idea. It's not an easy one, so feel free to pause the video and win the game for Alireza while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on finishing this brilliancy. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is not knight captures on h5, which Alireza played. It's actually knight to h7. I'm going to show why. The reason is that, well, knight to h7, you are if black plays a move, let's say a6, you will play knight captures on f6 and checkmate the black king. That's the idea. So the only thing Wesley will be able to do is to add a defender to f6, but it doesn't help. Now you're just gonna trade down into a winning endgame. Bishop captures on f6, knight captures, and now rook captures, forcing the black queen to capture. Captures, captures, and captures. Knight will capture on h5 with check, and once the king moves, you are up. You are up 4 pawns. So 4 pawns for the exchange is more than enough for you to win the game. And of those 4, 3 are already passed pawns, so it will be fairly easy to win this. However, Alireza tried something else. He played knight captures on h5 first, and it's actually in regard to what he already played, f3 preparing checkmate. Again, if you play something like a6, then checkmate will very quickly happen. King to g6, knight to f4 with check now, and after the king moves to h6, rook to h7 will be checkmate. So this is what Alireza wants, but Wesley says nope, not gonna happen. Rook captures on g5. He gives back some material. Now knight captures on f6, again hoping for knight captures and rook captures with checkmate, as the bishop and pawn are covering all of the squares here, but Wesley just hides the king. King to g6. We have rook to f8 now, attacking the knight here, and rook to f5. And amazingly, the position is still winning, but you have to throw in one move that it's not easy to spot in rapid. Alireza went for rook captures on e8 right away, but the move to spot is, I know you guys don't even have to pause the video for this one, pawn to h5 with check. And the reason is you have to capture it, because if the king moves, then you just checkmate the black king. King to, for example, here, and bishop to g3 will be checkmate. All the other lines end in checkmate as well. So you will have to capture it. And now that the rook moves, now you will play rook captures on e8. And after the queen moves, now you will capture the knight as well. And after queen captures, now, for example, rook e6 check, you win the c6 pawn as well. And you are up 4 pawns. queen, a bishop and rook and 4 pawns for a queen, that will be winning, unless maybe black miraculously finds some sort of a perpetual, but objectively it will be winning. But after rook f5, rapid format is too much to spot such intricacies. Alireza played rook captures on e8 right away, and now just queen to b7. h5 with check, but now you can go to f7. That's the difference. Once the rook moved from f8, king to f7 became a possibility, rook to b8, and now queen to e7. Just threatening to give back any material in order to survive this attack, but still Wesley will have to fight hard. h6. Now h7 and h8, both squares are covered, so if the queen comes into the game, it's all over. Rook captures on e5, and now a moment where it almost seems like you can play h7 and win the game. You cannot. If you play h7, then rook to e1 with check, and if king to h2, then even queen captures on f6. You can allow white to promote his pawn to a queen, but now queen f4 check, and you will very, very quickly checkmate the white king. Queen to f5 with check, king has to go up the board, or you advance the pawn. Now queen captures, king h4 check, rook h2 check, king to g5, and now you don't even have to capture the white queen. You can deliver a checkmate here. King to f5 and rook to f2 will be checkmate. So that's the problem. So after rook captures on e5, d captures on e5 was played, and now queen captures on e5. We have rook to f8 with check. One last attempt by Alireza at winning the game, because if king captures, then knight to d7 with a beautiful royal fork. But after rook to f8 check, king to g6 was played, and now Alireza has nothing better than to advance the pawn and allow this nasty perpetual check. So h7 was played, threatening h8 queen, but now Wesley just goes queen to e1 check, king h2, and it's now a perpetual. There's nothing more to try here. King h2, queen to h4 check, king to g1, and queen to e1 with check. And he was in this position. On move 44, the players agreed to a draw, or rather, it is now a forced draw by threefold repetition. So, incredible game, and it's amazing to me that we see a repetition of this line. Either Alireza was following what happened in the game between Šarić and Radžabov, or he watched my video and that inspired him to go for this. Either way, he took it to the next level. He found this very nice queen sacrifice, I imagine over the board, because the position has never been seen before, and it was possible to finish the masterpiece, but in the crucial moment here where knight to f4 check was played, which leads to a win, Alireza missed the only winning idea, and that is knight to h7. But even later on, it was possible to win with h5, but you know, such is the way of the rapid chess. So yeah, once again, big congratulations to those of you who were able to finish the masterpiece. You are an excellent player. Yeah, I would like to thank Ikofi Tobernon, Chen Bohu and Sick Nick, Donald Duncan Parker, Andreas Rosenthal, and David Gasparian for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on everything that's happening in the chess world, and of course, checking up on your wonderful suggestions. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day, and do check out the first link in the description below if you haven't seen yesterday's game. See you soon.